What's up, Bills Mafia? Welcome into this week's episode of Inside the Charge. I'm Maddy Glab, and in this week's episode, we've got fullback Reggie Gilliam joining the show. Reggie talks about why fullbacks deserve all the respect. We get into the origin story of Mr. Brightside, what Reggie does when he hears Mr. Brightside at home games. He also talks about the fact that he's the first player ever from his high school to make it in the NFL, goes through his pregame routine, and why he believes this team is capable of making it a couple more weeks. Reggie, thanks so much for taking the time to sit down with me today. I appreciate it. You guys are so busy this week getting ready for a huge game. This team finishes the season out 10-0 at home. The AFC Championship is on deck. What has been most important to the team's success so far this season?
Being true to ourselves. I think that goes a long way when you can believe in yourself and not listen to, the outside media. And, Sean's really big on ignoring the noise. So I think that just having the belief of everyone inside the building, that goes a long way.
What does being true to yourselves mean? What's the version for this team?
Honestly, I think the best example of it is Mac Hollins, just because he is who he is. It doesn't matter what anybody has to say or think about him, that he's going to continue being himself. And that just embodies what the Buffalo Bills are this year. Everyone has a lot of personality here, and they aren't afraid to show it. And us being able to play free and play fast and be ourselves has really shown up a lot on film.
You speak about Mac Hollins and what he does on and off the field, the no shoes, the personality, and then you've got Dion Dawkins, who has his own language sometimes. And then you have quiet guys on the team as well. Why do you love this group?
Because it's just like such a diverse group. Just everybody has such different personalities, and nobody is like, oh, that guy's kind of weird, or we don't want to hang out with him. Like, everyone just embraces each other for who they are.
Who do you love getting to hang out with on the team? Who's your group?
The tight end group, of course. Doss, Dalton, Q, Zach, those are the guys we always hang out outside of the building and always joking around, having a good time here too.
Okay, you brought up the tight ends. I've got to ask you this. Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid lose their minds when Mr. Brightside comes on in the fourth quarter at home games. They've really made it a scene this season. What are you doing when that's unfolding?
Okay, so this all started in the offseason at Dawson's wedding.
Okay.
They played Mr. Brightside at the reception, and everybody was losing their minds. And I had no idea what the song was. Never heard it a day in my life. And everyone's like, oh, this is it. And Dalton's like, oh, we got to do it. I'm like, do what? Like, what's going on? And everybody's going crazy in the middle of the dance floor to this song. And I'm just like kind of standing there watching everybody, because I've obviously never heard it before. And I'm just like, okay, like that was something. And then it started playing in the stadium. And I don't know if Dalton had something to do with that, but if we're up in the fourth quarter, like midway through the fourth quarter, they'll play it. And just this past weekend, when we were playing the Ravens, because it was a back and forth game pretty much all the way throughout the game, and they played Mr. Brightside at like 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And Dalton comes up to me, he's like, this Mr. Brightside is about to hit. And I was like, what? He was like, they're about to play it right now. And I was like, all right. And there was one game earlier in the season where I was like kind of singing along to it. I was reading the words on the screen, just trying to act like I knew what was going on, but I still didn't really know. But it's become a tradition here, and it's a lot of fun.
Why do you enjoy your teammates, your friends, getting to have that type of moment?
Because they're just so goofy all the time, and it's like we get that opportunity to really show how much we love each other and how much we have this family style feeling in this building.
You speak about loving each other. I think something like loving your teammates is expressed on the field. You play on special teams quite a bit, and there was a huge hit that you had against the Ravens. It was their second drive of the game. You back them up on the 2-yard line. What is the art of a Reggie Gilliam hit?
Honestly, I'm just like a heat-seeking missile. When I'm running down on kickoff or really any special teams cover unit, that I'm thinking that I got to get to the ball. And sometimes you'll see on film, there's a couple times where I'm moving so fast I miss because I'm just trying to absolutely lay into the guy. And when I connect, it's pretty loud.
When you connect, it's loud. You have the nickname of Sledge. Where does that come from?
That originates from Westland High School, my high school in Galloway, Ohio, a suburb of Columbus. My coach, Kyle Goebel, told me that I hit like a sledgehammer.
Ooh.
And so that's where it started coming from. He started calling me Reg the Sledge. So I carried that through college, and then I eventually just dropped the Reg the part and just went with Sledge.
Is that something you're born with or something that you learn hitting that hard?
Honestly, I think it's something that you're born with. You can't really teach the tenacity that comes with it. It's just kind of like, I'm 250 pounds. I'm a heavy dude, and I can move decently well. So, just the laws of physics, mass moving at a certain speed is going to be a collision. So
I watch practices, and during the special teams unit portion, when you guys are on the field practicing together, it seems like there's a lot of pride in playing on special teams. And within that, you see guys fighting to race down the field who's going to get there first. And I know you're not tackling in practices, but how does that mindset help you in the games?
It helps a ton, and I really think that starts at the top with Matthew Smiley. He's been here the whole time that I've been here, and he's been great. Just coaching guys up and getting guys to want to play hard for him, because he's just that type of guy that you don't want to let down. So it's like he's made it fun, but he's also made it like the environment, the atmosphere that we play in is that this is how we are. We play with juice, we play fast, we play smart, and that's just how we all are.
How do you believe that you guys can set the tone in a game?
I think special teams goes a long way setting tones, because like you said last week, a big hit can spark the defense, and
it was wild.
The field position battle that special teams is, it's all complementary football. Like Sean always says, that special teams is like that key that people most times overlook, but it could be the difference in a game a lot of times.
You mentioned being from Ohio, going to Westland High School. You're the first player from your high school to make it to the NFL.
Yeah.
What does it take to go from that to now be in your 5th season with Buffalo?
It wasn't easy by any means, coming from a small school. Well, not even a small school, just not a school that has been successful in the past. My entire college career, I only won 7 games. Or entire high school career, I only won 7 games. I won a lot in college, but
Toledo.
Yeah, in high school, we didn't win a lot of games, so we didn't have a lot of scouts coming around to see us. I think I had 2 scouts total come see me in high school. So it wasn't like, these high schools now where, kids are, transferring high schools to be seen. Like, it wasn't any of that. I stayed in my high school because I wanted to be with my friends. And I always knew I wanted to go to the NFL, but I knew it was going to be a challenge coming from Westland, where, people didn't really come looking for college players. But there was a game, like my 3rd game of my senior year, the linebackers coach was like the Columbus recruiting area guy. He messaged me on Twitter after I had just had a big game, and he said, like, I really liked your tape. I want you to come up for a game. They're like walk-on weekend or whatever. So I came up, checked out the campus, and fell in love with it, and the rest is history, really.
That's awesome that you got an opportunity like that and somebody saw your tape and saw the potential within you. But when you win only 7 games throughout your high school career, and you have goals to make it in college football and beyond, what does that do to your mentals when you're out of school? And nothing on the school, but it wasn't a good program.
It just wasn't a place where colleges were coming to look. And I had like Division III schools coming, but I was like, I'm already a small school high school guy. There's no way that I can go Division III and make it to the NFL. And even my coach Goebel, that gave me the Sledge nickname, he was telling me, like, hey, you should try to go D2, make a name for yourself, and then maybe you transfer to D1. And I told him, like, look, like, I have to go D1 or I'm not going to make it.
Wow.
So what I ended up doing was walking on at Toledo. Was a walk on there for 2 years, got a scholarship my 3rd year, and became a 2-time captain there. Had a great career on special teams and offensively blocking. And then another thing happened with COVID 2020. I was supposed to have a pro day, that got canceled. So it was just like another thing on my way. I was like, this is really getting tough. But luckily, Sean McDermott calls me after the draft and tells me you want to give me a shot. So here I am.
Why do you believe you fit here in Buffalo?
I feel like Buffalo is like that blue collar work, just put your head down and grind kind of thing. And I feel like that fits me perfectly, because nothing was ever given to me. I had to, I came from a small school. I had to earn a scholarship, and then I essentially had to earn another spot. Or I walked on here again, making it to the 53 my rookie year. So it was just like, it's kind of what I do. It's what I do, being a blue collar, head down, do what I'm told, get it done kind of guy.
Fullbacks are a blue collar type of position.
Exactly.
I would say you're jumping in and out of tight ends meetings, probably offensive line as well, running backs too.
Everywhere.
Why do fullbacks deserve more respect, Reggie?
Because we play every position. Like you see Kyle Juszczyk, He's running wheel routes down the sideline.
Mm-hmm.
He's blocking. He's getting the handoff. He's a kick returner. He's holding the PAT. Like, he does everything, and I feel like he really embodies what a fullback is, because the fullback is like the Swiss Army knife of the offense. We can do whatever, anything you may need, but the defense has to respect it still, because they don't know what you're going to do. So I feel like that it's a bit of a lost
Mm-hmm.
art, but people that understand, they know.
How can we campaign for a Reggie Gilliam touchdown in the AFC Championship game?
You have to talk to Joe Brady. I can give you his number
All
if
right,
you need.
I'll call up Joe and say, hey, Joe, I think this would look really nice on tape.
Yeah, please.
You get to be on the line sometimes with the offensive line. They've done a heck of a job this season protecting Josh Allen like his life is on the line. What's been the difference this year?
Coach Cromer, he's got a really good rapport with the guys, and we all get along really well. The times that I have been in the room with them, learning whatever run scheme it is, they all get along great, and it shows up on tape that everyone's on the same page all the time because of what Cromer teaches, and Cromer is one of the best teachers I've ever been around.
When you hit a nice block, describe the feeling, because on the outside looking in, I mean, there are some blocks that show up on tape where you're watching the game as a fan and you're like, oh my gosh, that looks like pancake blocks, what Deion Dawkins does, what seems like every other play.
Yeah.
What is that feeling like when
I
you drive somebody
even
to the
said
ground?
this. I even said this back in college, that I said that a good block feels better than the run itself, just because, like, you sprung the block, or like if I'm at the point of attack on a block and I kick my guy out and I feel James run right behind me, I'm like, oh, thank goodness, like, he's gone, because I know that if I'm at the point of attack and I do my job, then that allows him to do his job, and he looks great. And it's not like I need all the credit for it, but I just want him to know that, like, I got his back.
You spoke about James Cook, 16 rushing touchdowns in the regular season, ties for the most in the league. But nobody's talking about James Cook. You could say that about a lot of players who have great seasons in Buffalo, the blue-collar town being counted out, yada, yada. I could go on. How fun is it watching James this year?
Oh, it's a ton. Just seeing from where he was his rookie year to where he is now, it's just night-and-day difference. I knew when he first got here he was going to be really special, just because of the way that he is able to run between the tackles, but also run outside and catch passes. He's a bit of a fullback himself. He can do a little bit of everything. So James has really been awesome to have around here.
What does a pregame routine look like for Reggie Gilliam?
I love a chill day. Getting in. So, I mean, it's different depending on what time kickoff is, but most of the time kickoff's around 1 o'clock. But I like to wake up at like 7:30, 8 o'clock, and I just kind of take my time, eat breakfast, get to the stadium, and just relax. Try to conserve as much energy as I can, and just kind of think about and visualize what I'm going to do at kickoff.
Is it easy to relax on a game day?
I've mastered a lot more now. When I was younger, it was like really, really jittery. And
I get in and I'm jittery.
Yeah.
I think about you guys. I'm like, I can't imagine how they think. It's 5 hours before kickoff, and I'm like, this game needs to start in 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's really tough. Well, it was tough for me, but as I've gotten older, I've kind of just been able to kind of manage that better. Just kind of wait for your energy, wait to expel it. So I like to listen to, like R&B and like soft things before the game starts, because I know a lot of guys are like heavy metal, rap, whatever.
Yes.
But that's not me. I like to just kind of be zen before the game.
Reggie.
Yes, and then once that first whistle blows, that's when you cut it loose.
Okay, so you cut it loose when the first whistle blows. How do you get yourself to a place where you can cut it loose?
It really starts for home games. I know it starts when we have like the legend of the game go, where else would you rather be? Like, that's when I'm like, all right, here we go. Like, I get juiced up off that. And like, I'm lining up for kickoff, and I'm like, all right, let's go. So it starts, well, it doesn't start there, but like that's when I really flip the switch. I'd say it at first initially starts when we run out for the team warm-ups. I always do this thing when I run out. I turn around, I look at everybody in the stands, and I'm like, all these people are here to see you do what you love. Deion
had a clip that kind of went viral during the Ravens game. He was mic'd up, and he turned, I don't know who he was talking to, but he turned around and he said, do you ever just look at the fans and think, how beautiful is this?
Oh, yeah.
And I thought it was a really cool moment to just sit there in the middle of a game and take a beat and just look up at Bills Mafia just
real.
Going wild for you guys.
Yeah, that's real, especially for me in my rookie year where there was no fans in the stands.
Yeah, that's a great point.
So my first however many games until the playoffs, because that's when they started letting fans in. They let like 6,000 fans in or whatever. But my first 17 games or whatever were dead silent. you could hear everything on the field. You hear what everybody's saying. So it was really weird. It sounded like a practice. But once my first game, I think it was a playoff game against the Colts. I think it was the first time we had fans in the stands. There was only 6,000 fans, but I remember running out because I was like, that was the most people I'd ever seen in the stands. I played at tiny school in Westland, and then played in the MAC at Toledo. There was never. I mean, they would fill the stands.
Action shows up
Decently, but for 6,000 fans to make it sound like it was a full stadium was incredible. And then it's like the next season you see the whole stadium is full with, I don't even know, 70,000 people, and they're all screaming their heads off. It's a really cool feeling. And I like to think about last weekend when we played the Ravens. They had a third or fourth down. It was coming up, and I remember turning around, looking back, like, wow, these people are really going crazy. So I'm trying to hype them up even more. Yeah. I'm getting rowdy with them. I'm trying to help the defense out, but I'm getting rowdy with them. And you see people with their shirts off and people going absolutely insane, and there's just nothing like it.
Is anybody better than Jordan Phillips trying to hype up the crowd in the middle
his signature
of a drive?
Yeah, his signature move. He's out there on the field doing it before the play, and I'm like. Yeah, Jordan's great.
It's amazing. Let's go back to the tight ends room. You said those are your buddies. Those are the guys you spend the most time with. Who's the one cracking jokes in that position group?
Oh, man. Everybody's a comedian in that group. I think Dalton is probably the comedian that cracks jokes. But me and Q, we got this thing. If we make eye contact at the right time, we'll just bust out laughing. So it's a really good group of guys. And Zach, he's like the golden retriever of the group. He's got all the energy, and he acts like a middle school kid. So it's a really good group of guys.
What does Reggie bring to the tight ends room?
They call me the dad of the group because
I would think Dawson would be the dad.
We're both kind of like the dads of the group. We're kind of the more matured ones, and we're kind of always looking at them why would you do that, or why are you making that noise? It's trying to keep them in line, but it's they're so funny you can't help but laugh sometimes.
How does Rob Boris, your tight ends coach, wrangle the group?
Some days are better than others. Some days you could tell he gets a little annoyed with us because
I'm sick and tired of you guys.
But no, he has a lot of love for us. He tells us all the time that we're his favorite group of people he's coached, and he tries to act like he's tough sometimes, but we get him to crack every now and then.
He's awesome. Reggie, you're speaking, and I hear the love that you have for your teammates inside of the tight ends room and even the team at large. When you look at this group, what they've put together this season, so many people doubted you.
Yeah.
Why do you believe this group is capable of winning a couple more?
Like what I said earlier, we all believe in each other. It doesn't matter what everybody's saying outside these doors. It's what's going on in here. They don't know what's going on in here. And I remember hearing about all the things before camp that we're not talented, we're not this, we're not that, but none of that matters. We do what we do, and we keep going.
I love it. Do what you do and keep going. Can't wait for this week and beyond. It's gonna be a fun couple weeks. I believe it.
Yeah, I believe it.
Thanks, Reg.
Yep.